Hey, it's Ariel, and so I just am gonna talk more about some of the music festivals I've been to. I keep anyway. I've made a couple videos, and I end up talking about how much I love music, but I didn't actually get to say where I went. So I have been some of my favorites. Growing up in a small town where folk music was pretty much normal. Uh, I love the Strawberry Music Festival. That is actually my favorite festival. I went there 3 times when it was near Yosemite, and that was so fun because it's the kind of place that like people had been coming every year for like 40 years, and they would get the same campsites and stuff because if you did some kind of work like involved in some kind of service with the festival, then you got to get in a day early. And so a lot of people just would do some kind of work and then they would come earlier and then they'd set up their camp. And so it was just, but it was so cool because people who'd met like 20 years ago there would like camp with each other and like they saw each other once a year, like every year when they went there. And when I went, their lake was, oh my God, it was wonderful. And there was the Banana Slug Band, was the kids' band, and it was over by the lake. And so you'd get to hear the kids' music while you were swimming. So that was cool. And like I said, I went there 3 times. The first time um, was pretty funny. I decided I wanted to go, and I couldn't make up my like I didn't let's just say this, I didn't have a ticket and I didn't have a way there. And it was Friday, so it was the first day of the festival. And so I got on the train I got on the bus in my hometown, and then it comes down, and then got on the train in Sacramento, and so heading toward the Bay Area, um, because you can go that way to go toward Yosemite. You could also, from my hometown, go a different way, but this is the way the train goes, and I couldn't drive at that point because of my epilepsy. So I got on the train, and like I said, still didn't have a ticket, right? But I had posted on Craigslist that I was looking for a ticket, and I had my phone, and so even though it wasn't like the smart way for smartphones are now, because gosh, that was I don't know, like 12, 15, I don't know. Anyway, a while ago. And I I had posted on Craigslist that I was looking for a ticket. So somebody got back to me, like by email, I think. And so I had checked my email, and then I messaged them, and then so they were like, I'll meet you at the Davis station, and we'll do the transaction, and like because the train stops just for a minute, like to drop people off and get people on. It's not like a stop. So he was like, I'll just meet you right there, and we can like you can give me the money and I'll give you the ticket. So uh we got there, and in the probably like maybe 30 seconds or something, because I came off the train and we're doing that, and he's like, yeah, how are you getting there? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, do you want to come with us? And I was like, sure. And so I just got off the train in Davis, which I'm somebody who's been to Davis a lot. I know it, but I didn't know these people at all. And so then, of course, though, it was, I don't know what time, it was later in the day. And so now I had a ticket and a ride. That was the good thing. Um, and, but it was like, like I said, later in the day on Friday, and they were like, well, we're not going till tomorrow. And so they're like, you can come sleep. They were like, let's see, they were I don't know what you call it, like resident managers of the International House. However, it was summer, I believe. Or, well, people were not there. I think it was, gosh, when is Strawberry? Yeah. So nobody was living there except them. So I went there with them and then slept in like the dining room or something. It was not very comfortable. Um, I think I'd forgotten a mattress. I had serious problems with remembering things, and now I know it's all because of my epilepsy. But it's just so hard when like you can't remember essential things. Um, but since I didn't know what was going on, I didn't necessarily um, look at it as something I could get help with, in terms of just like accepting that I had memory issues and how do I deal with it. I just was more like embarrassed and stuff like that. So oftentimes I would end up places without like important things like a sleeping bag or something. Like I would just oftentimes forget something that was so important. Food sometimes, all kinds of things. So that was my crazy epilepsy experiences, epilepsy days. But then we spent the night, and then the next day we got into like a hatchback. I think there were three of us. So this guy and his girlfriend and me, and then like we picked up two other people. So there were five of us in this little hatchback. Which I've done that before. My family, we went to the state of Washington, from California to San Juan Islands with me and my sister and my brother in the back seat, which is a really bad idea, of a hatchback Subaru, and my parents and five bikes, and drove up there and then biked around the San Juan Islands. And personally, I don't like to bike all that much. Like, pretty much what it comes down to is my family like to go backpacking and hiking and, biking. And, like, I would just rather dance. So, like, when it comes down to it, it's like, I'd rather just go dance. So, I don't really need to go backpacking. But I did do plenty of all of that. But that's why, like, it was okay. Like, it was beautiful. But, biking for 7 days or something, bike camping, so like taking all your stuff too, that was hard. It was not necessarily my favorite thing, but the ferries, it was really beautiful. But also I have so much memory deficit from that whole time in my life, which is like a whole chunk of my life, that I honestly can't tell you most of it. I just have like slight little glimpses of memory of being there, like once standing on the ferry and looking out, and once like looking at my sister, like thinking, I can think of, I was looking at my sister's, she had she had the trailer on the back of her bike that had all her stuff in it. And that's it. I don't remember anything else. And I have like one memory of us in the car going up there. So, things like that, it's kind of rough. Like that literally is all I remember. And, that was an entire week long summer vacation, I think. And I was probably 15 or something. So most of my life then is like that. I think I start having, see, then the problem was is that I just kept having seizures, and then later I just had more memory deficit. So then even though I stopped having as many seizures, I still have a really hard time like remembering experiences and stuff also. Whereas before it was like, because also I was having seizures during the time, and all those partial seizures, when you're having them, you're not like intaking memories because you're totally fried. Um, Seizures are crazy. Epilepsy is horrible. That's all I can say. Um, but yeah, getting back to the fact that I like Strawberry Music Festival. And so we went there. I didn't have a tent. I mean, that's the thing. Like, so I went and they let me sleep in their tent. And I hadn't brought any food. I think, like I said, I think that time was what I forgot. Well, I didn't plan, let's just say. So I didn't have any food. So they gave me some of their food, which was really nice. But I got to know them, and I spent the whole weekend there with them, camping, and we went and, listened to music all day and night. And that was the first time I went, and you can basically at night go around to different campsites and people are just playing music. And Strawberry is a bluegrass festival. And for me, bluegrass music is the best in person. Like live bluegrass music is amazing. It's the energy for me, the energy, and it's just incredible what people can do. Um, I would say that I don't listen to much bluegrass music on, I was going to say tape, on recorded. There we go. There we go. I'm not going to date myself quite as much. Well, I already did, but anyway, so but I love bluegrass festivals. So I went to the Strawberry like 3 times, and then twice when it was in my hometown for like a short amount during the day, but 3 times where I went and camped there. And then I went to the California Bluegrass Festival that was in my hometown like every year for I don't know how many years, but um, that was really fun. I loved that too. But Strawberry is like a hippie music festival, and the California Bluegrass Festival is very, very different. It's more ranchers kind of vibe. And so very, very, very different, but still awesome music. Um, I happen to grow up in a place where it's kind of amazing how much music came through there. Um, I will tell you more about it, but I mean, it's just kind of incredible. And it's a small town, and the fact that like we had like every year we had like the Celtic Festival, which was like a whole weekend of Celtic music. We had, which I kind of was like forgetting that that counts as a festival because like it was just so normal. We had the World Music Festival, the California World Music Festival that started in my hometown, and so I went every year for like 5 years or something. Uh, because when you live near there, near the festival, I always found ways to make things work. I didn't have any money, so um, I like for 1 year at the California World Music Festival, I slept on the stage because somebody has to sleep on the stage at night with the sound equipment so that it's safe. Um, so that was my job 1 year. So then I got a free ticket, things like that. Um, but yeah, just more about Strawberry. At night, everybody's just jamming. And I did bring my flute, which I used to play the flute. And I say used to because don't really have the breath for it. And my embouchure, which is your lips, are not strong at this point. But definitely used to. And I did a lot of classical music, which I don't like playing, but it was like one of those things where I was just learning it really well, even though I was not too keen on that music. But at home, I was supposed to practice an hour a day, and I usually just turned on the radio and like jammed to whatever was on the radio. And I discovered that my favorite thing to jam with was other jazz guitarists. So like I managed to do that sometimes with like some people I knew, and that was awesome. Like just that was my favorite thing to do with my flute music. My sister and I also did do a wedding where we did Pachelbel's Canon. I had forgotten about that. She played the harp, and we did that together. And we did that at Victorian Christmas. So that's another thing in my hometown is that they close the streets um, in the winter and have a festival every week. And then they started doing it in the summer too. Anyway, but so then that weekend, like it was amazing because I just I just went, I just made it happen like out of nothing. Um, and like I said, I didn't really have hardly any money, so I got the ticket for cheaper because it was last minute. Which was kind of one of the only ways I could go also. And like I said, then I didn't pay for really anything because yeah, so I mean it was just ways to make it work. um, the next time I went to Strawberry, I was with a friend, and I was working for them on their in their ice cream truck like venue. So obviously it wasn't a truck because we were like in the vendors. That's what I'm trying to say, like with the other vendors, food vendors. But they have a like a oh gosh, what is it called? Like a little trailer thing that has everything in it. Um, and the other time I went with another friend, and so I was able to go in early also. So both of those years I got to go in on Thursday instead of when it opens on Friday. So that was pretty cool. And all those times I got to, go swimming and just like hang out by the campfire, which I love, and have people play live music around the fire. That is just like, I don't know. I guess I like don't realize that some people just didn't do that all the time in their life. It's kind of strange when I think about growing up in a small town. It's very different than other people, and I don't really think about that sometimes. Like I don't realize that not everybody spent the majority of their summer sitting around a